Well, it's called, as you saw on the drawing, Spiral of Life. And this little drawing came also as an inspiration to the spiritual teacher I have been having for 30 years, because he always said that he was not smart enough to hear things with words. He had to have just little drawings. So this is one of them. And this is to tell you the story of human life has seen from a distance far beyond our small human eyes and understanding. Of course, you might recognize some aspects and disregard others. You need not even to believe in what I share with you today. If you don't simply consider it, it's a made-up story, but it's not fake news, please. The goal for this is to understand yourself better, see where your own behavior comes from. And because the more you understand yourself, the more you have understanding for yourself and for others too. And this is a good way to for the root of conflicts to be destroyed. So now we can go to have another look at this spiral, which is today's screensaver. And people watching on YouTube will see what I mean. Mm-hmm. First of all, as you can read, it starts from the bottom. Life on Earth begins. And on the right side, in the first loop, is written in the womb. That's where we start our life. We know that this life, this episode of life, begins at conception, not at birth, at conception. For me and for you, we had to wait for our parents to be born before we became even possible. And when they met and had a sexual relationship, it was time to leave eternal life in order to start this incarnation on Earth. You can let go the screensaver from Joe. Let me use what I understand from my own life as to what happens afterwards. With my conception and still in the womb, I received a task, a mission, whatever you call it, the reason for being born. Most likely, we say it's from our guardian angel. But the trauma of birth occurred, and I forgot that mission. Each of us, we forgot what we had to do on Earth. Some people say that the little slit that we have over the upper lip is the finger of the angel saying, forget it, forget it. That's why there's a little mark there. On the drawing, we can look at the drawing again. I know I will be going back and forth because it's easier to understand. Still at the bottom, on the drawing, the parallel dashes represent our birth. It's the time when we are plainly visible on Earth, not only from the ultrasound picture or the mother's round shape. In the womb, we know our body has built itself, and we didn't have to strive to make it become a full human creature. I shall not go into details about this first and major trauma. Joe spoke about it. I simply wish to add that the various challenges we had to overcome during birth trauma built the way we would behave in our lives. One example, just to make it clear, the baby who doesn't come out head first might be reluctant to get involved in something new every time he is given the opportunity to do so. He's going to walk away from it or turn around, just like the baby did. What might or might not come as a surprise to you is that everybody will also experience 3 other secondary traumas. The first one, birth. The other 3 are coming. And I'll explain what is involved in each of them and their impact on our personality when they happen. Another look at the spiral. So on the right side, you might see there are 3 loops. Four loops on the right side. And on the left, the curves 1, 2, 3 going up. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Those 4 loops, they represent integration phases in which major relationship takes place in each case. We also use the word couple because it's identifying who is our closest partner at the time. Like I said, on the left side, there are 3 episodes which are for learning. We call them stairways or rungs of a ladder. We are climbing somewhere, trying to adjust from the loop before in order to reach the next one. We start with the loop and we climb on the left, and we go back in another loop. Again, I'll give you examples from my own life. You can leave the drawing, Joe, thank you. This evolution impacted my actions in my relationships. In that first stairway on the left side, it is what we call infancy or early childhood. During that time, the mother is the most important for the baby, and the little one can feel that she's there, even if she's on the other side of the door, or maybe farther away. It might even know if she's happy, she's sad, angry, and so on. And the first secondary trauma occurs between our first months and before, let's say, 4 or 5 years old. It can be different according to the people. This trauma has to do with truth and lies. In my case, I believe I was torn between the love my parents had for me. I felt their love, but there was also the threat of my daddy's belt when I didn't want to go to sleep. And my father admitted that he was ashamed of himself the day he saw me asleep with my fist holding the belt, so it would not hurt me. There are examples also when a family secret is hidden from the little one, but he knows something is wrong. That's why it has to do with truth and lying. Truth, lying. Every time you have a problem in your life that's affection with someone or the truth and the lie, you know you're behaving yourself according to this first trauma. The little one will make a choice. Will he favor being truthful, or will he rather lie to protect himself? And this will impact again all of his affective relations and life. Second loop. I guess you remember it. We don't have to see it again. It's on the right side. This is childhood. The relation this time is more towards the father, or with the father, or anyone with the figure of authority. It is time for school, say between 5, 6, and 12, 13 years old. There are also the other boys and girls, other than our brother, sister, and we try to do what they do. You know, little boy look at their father and say, me do like daddy, me like daddy. And they copy also the other ones at school, maybe the teacher. The trauma at this time, since we wish to be accepted, acknowledged, it has to do with our own ways to draw attention to us. We want people to look at us, to love us. We're always looking for love. We're searching for pleasure, of course, and our innocent smile or behavior might be misinterpreted, misunderstood. Again, this is what happened to me. You can let go the drawing, Joe. Like I said, it would be back and forth. At that time, I was back in France. It was when I was after 5 years old. And there was an outdoors washing place before washing machines were created. And the ladies of the village would gather there to wash their clothes. And they gossip a lot. That was the place where they could meet and gossip. It was right across from the house where we lived. An American family came for a visit when I was about 8 years old. That family, the parents had 6 or 7 daughters, I forgot, but only one son. It was so hot that I took off all of my clothes to feel the water on all of my body. Well, the only little boy of the visiting family went and told my father about it. I can still remember my father standing in front of me. He didn't even scold me, but the shame I read in his eyes impacted all of my feelings about pleasure and shame. It always, you can say this kind of trauma has to do with what we call a sexual ambiguity, something that's not very clear, neither for the child, neither for the people around. Of course, it's a trauma that I will bear during our lives in relations with all the authority figures, a boss, a leader. And in my life from then on, a body pleasure would always be associated with shame. The child's choice, depending on his or her experience, is, shall I favor pleasure at all cost, or shall I forbid this feeling because I'm ashamed? And sometimes I felt that myself. I know I'm in a pleasant situation, I like what I do, but I find a reason to stop that, to end the pleasant experience. That's not for me, that's shameful. As you know, there are cases of rape and abuse during childhood, but the trauma takes place even without such violent occurrence. Nowadays, I know that I'm better off when I reconnect with the playful little girl I used to be. Second stairway, we keep on climbing up, we're getting older. It's on the left. We leave childhood behind, and we are trying to look for love, approval, and recognition from someone who's completely different from us and not in our family. Of course, we call him or her the boyfriend, the girlfriend. And let's remember, if you still have that in mind, how a boy or girl can seem so far out of reach. He is or she is in another world in itself. It's the first love emotion. That means that you in your teens. We have this ideal and often unrealistic illusion view that this special and beautiful young person will bring us the perfect love we keep looking for, because we have been deceived during our childhood, receiving only crumbs of what we had expected. We had expected to find that lovely harmony that we had in our mother's womb. I tried and tried as a teen to be attractive, to please the boys in my class or during my vacation. But I was still a little girl in the way I looked and behaved. When the boy dated me for a while, he soon found some more mature, and appealing partner, and he let me go. I must say that the first time this happened, I had been dating a boy for 3 years, and all of a sudden I learned that he went to see another girl and made her pregnant. And I was so sad. I said, my life has to end now. I must kill myself. But the trauma I had before with my father helped me not do that. I say, whoa, if I miss myself, my father is going to be so mad. So I'm still alive, luckily. I didn't take the big knife. And down-to-earth reality broke my dreams. So the third trauma, from which a teen will either stick to his idealistic point of view or will behave only according to factual reality and matters. That's where he has to make a choice. And the couple we have here, remember it's on the right side, is with the other. Our relations in society, social, political activities, even in the causes we defend, we get, it's in appliqué in French, we get involved. Still look for my words. Our life goes on anyway. And after seeing many partners before knowing which one we want, we enter the adult world, the third loop. It's a time to build a positive ego, to succeed in our job, our marriage, raising children sometimes, getting a sufficient income to be independent and have a place in society. Of course, not everybody achieves all of these goals, but we have to achieve a few of them in order to go to the next step. In order to have something to overcome, the ego is not useless. I thought I was useless as a baby girl. It's not useless, but it's there to serve the one in me who knows, the higher me, I would say. In French, we say me or I. That's to overcome when we choose a spiritual path. In no case should we attempt to grow spiritually only because we failed in ordinary human goals. We must go beyond, not overpass it. Of course, another choice is made by priests, nuns, monks. They put their ego aside very quickly and they follow a different path, which is not any easier, I'm sure of that. During this time, where we integrate what we learned previously, when we try to fit in this world, it's the couple with the spouse, for people who have a spouse. And there are challenges because the one we marry or live with cannot remain the white knight or the glorious princess we saw at first. We all learned that. But the three traumas are behind us. What we're having now are trials, not traumas, trials. It's, if I make a parallel, the adult stage is the state of Occidental world people nowadays. And what is to happen after is associated with the spiritual growth. But our Occidental world is at that stage. You could say that people who still live in forest, pick things and all that, they are maybe in childhood still, you see. It's just a difference of time of evolution. The three traumas are behind us. We have trials. The major and first one that occurs to us is what written in red, midlife crisis. I think most people know what it is. In French, we speak about the crisis of the 40s, but it can happen at 30, 40, 50 years old. And some people say, I don't know what is my midlife crisis. But the sign where we can recognize that it is happening, it's a feeling that life cannot be only what I go through every day, what I got, what I experience, my husband or wife, my children, maybe they already left the house, my belongings, my house, my country, my car, for men, sometimes my car. There must be something else. And we don't know what it is at first. So many people take drugs to say, oh, it's just a bad time to go to. No, it's a trial. We have to make a meaning out of it and see what is important in our life. What was important before our job, because we had to work, all that, after a while, we know it's not what we want out of life. And there is a last stairway to climb if we know from that midlife crisis that we can now learn something else. We learn where is the meaning of our life. Maybe what the angel told us, we can now try to find out what it is. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here every day, Sunday with Joe. I'm happy to tell you that this phase is exactly the one in which we all fit, whether our working days are behind us or not. We're looking for something that makes our lives worthy and meaningful. It's learning something in order to ripen, to become spiritually alive. There would be more to say about this learning step and also about the last loop. The last loop is aging, post-retirement years. But I think it's enough for today as a background to our meditation time. And remember, when you start that meditation, you let go of all that you heard and you stay aware of your breath, conveying you to the journey down deep in your heart. Thank you.